Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Let's Chat Reality. I'm Michael,
And I'm Molly.
and we are here today to talk about Survivor 49, Episode 8. And we have with us a very special guest from Survivor 47 and host of a Perfect Match podcast on the RJP network. It's Aysha Welch. Aysha, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. I'm very excited to be talking about this season because this is the first time I'm talking about this season that's not at an RHAP live show. so,
Oh, wow.
I mean, besides the draft, like the RHAP draft,
Sure.
that's before the season happens. But, it's been an interesting ride. And so I'm very lucky that I got a good episode to talk
You
about.
did. I think
Yeah.
it was a good one. Yeah, I think we're on an upward trajectory this season,
Yes.
I feel like. So I'm excited to get into it. But before we do, Asia, we always like to when we have our guests on for the first time, we like to get their reality TV origin stories. So what was your the first show that you remember watching that really got you sucked into reality TV?
Oh, so my mom is she was huge into reality TV back in the day. So I think my original viewing experience was like The Real World. And I go way back with The Real World. Definitely when it was like The Real World was on, Road Rules was on. I wouldn't watch Road Rules as much, but I definitely was The Real World into The Challenge. And so I was more like on the MTV side. But then I think I know my first Big Brother season was Big Brother 5.
Me
And then
too.
oh wow, okay. And I do not remember my first Survivor season, but it was around the same time because it was kind of
Mhm.
like I always thought of Survivor as like Big Brother and Survivor was Big Brother but outside.
Mm.
So just like when I was younger, Big Brother was easier to grasp. So I was way more like into Big Brother, but Survivor was like a fun family show to watch. Like, oh man, it's hard. And then it was just kind of like as I grew up and into my teen years and like definitely into college is when that shifted for me, where it was kind of like I got way more into Survivor over Big Brother. But yeah, it's definitely The Real World would be my origin my origin show. Because I'm like there was I feel like there was something else that was reality, not on like the N or remember like Noggin, the teen side of it. I don't know if I'm aging myself, but definitely back in the day, it was like Real World was the biggest show. There were other like smaller reality shows, like all the smaller dating reality shows, like on MTV, like Next and
Oh God, next. What
yeah,
a classic.
Room Raiders. I loved all of those. So yeah, I was definitely I've always loved reality TV. And yeah, I never thought that I would actually be on one, but
And yeah, I mean that's a good segue. So, what had you applied before Survivor 47 for Survivor? Kind of how did you? What was your journey to getting on there?
yeah, so so when I graduated college, it was like one of those things of so I graduated college. We all graduated from UT. We found out pre-show. So I graduated college in 2013, and it was one of those just like this is my first time living on my own in my own apartment, and of course you just dive into these shows like that's your like comfort thing is having these shows on, right? And I was just kind of like why not just try to apply to a show, right? And I was just like so into Big Brother, so I applied for Big Brother. This was Big Brother 17, and I made it to finals, and then I didn't make it, and so I was like 22, no, like maybe like 23 at the time. Blessing in disguise. I cannot imagine 23-year-old me on reality TV, but I
You and
made it to
Davon in that
finals.
house together would
I know
have been something.
exactly. Hey, there was only one spot for us, so
Oh
at that
God.
time, so that would have never happened at
And
that
that season
time.
was like the most extreme example of that,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, exactly. And so I didn't get it. I was heartbroken, and then I was like, once I was finally like, okay, I'm trying to get like pick myself back up. I impulsively applied for Survivor. Didn't hear back. And then I stayed on the Big Brother train for a couple of years. Like the next year I made it to semifinals. The next year I didn't hear back. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let this dream die. Got into podcasting. Like fast forward, because I did have my own podcast where I talked about Big Brother.
Oh.
I tried like a blog too, where I would just like type my thoughts about an episode. This is a weird train down memory lane. I forgot about this stuff. I like blog. I think I like wrote stuff about like Big Brother 18, and then I think it was like Big Brother 19. I had my own podcast that like family and friends listened to. That was it, and those were my only guests. Were family and friends. Like my mom would come on often.
Oh.
Um, and then 2020, I joined RHAP, and that's when I got, really into podcasting. And then I've met so many Survivor players over the years. I was like, you know what? I don't, I used to think Survivor was way too hard. And I was like, you know what? I'm meeting so many people that I could relate to. And I was like, I think I should apply. And so I applied for real this time, gave a very vulnerable, just like set my camera up, 3 minutes, just talked. I didn't edit anything. Like it was drastic difference from the Big Brother tapes I would send in. Tapes. I'm only 33. I don't know why I'm trying to age myself. It was drastically different from my Big Brother audition videos, where I was just like, picture, picture. I'm like shoving my life down your throat really quickly. But this, I just put up a camera, talked, and I heard back 2 days later, and then ended up making it on Survivor 47. So it was kind of one of those. It was the right time type of
Hmm.
thing, because I was kind of like I was okay with when I applied for Big Brother. It was one of those things like I need this to kind of like feel something, whereas now I was like I'm perfectly happy with everything else going on in my life right now. This is just the next challenge, and I think that helped in like my confidence throughout the casting process. And so yeah, then made it on Survivor 47.
Yeah, and the rest is history. And how, I'm so curious as somebody who had been podcasting for quite a while before going on Survivor, has it being on the show changed the way that you feel like you watch the shows, that you podcast about the shows, like your viewing experience? How has that differed since going on Survivor?
Yeah, I would say it's changed the most with Survivor for sure,
Sure.
because I understand how like you have the entire cast has this idea of what the storylines will be, right? And then you watch and you're like, "Whoa, I did not expect there's so much more that wasn't
Yeah.
shown," like even on my season like they y- you know I had always remembered and experienced like my dynamic with Genevieve as a major part of my story, and they hardly, like episode 4 was her breakout episode.
Right.
And, and everyone was still like, wait, where's Genevieve? And so it's kind of wild understanding that, editing is way different than what we actually experience out there, because they're trying to tell a story, and everybody has their own POV. So with Survivor now, it's kind of one of those things where I watch it and I'm like, yeah, I understand. There's so much more we don't know, and so it's kind of hard to be as critical as before, because I'm like, we're working with scraps that have been nicely placed together for it to make sense to us, because not everyone watching is like us three, right? No one, not everyone watching is a super fan.
Right.
You have casual viewers who this has to make sense to as well. So that's why I'm like, I understand that you can't get into all the nitty gritty of all the different elements of strategy and what people were thinking at every step and turn. And so now it's kind of one of those things where it's just like I watch it with just like that extra lens of just like, okay, I understand that we don't know what else is going on. But with my other shows like Married at First Sight, I know it's just the highlight reel of what we're watching.
Especially this
But
season. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. They are speeding through it.
Yeah.
But I do still give them some grace too, because I'm like, okay, I understand there's so much you don't know. There's so much that can change, and understanding how sometimes people are a little bit different when cameras are on you. Like you can turn it on because we experienced that too, even on the island of just like, okay, there are moments where people just kind of let their hair down a little bit if it's like a moment of, they know that a camera is not directly on them, which was few and far between. Like usually cameras are always on us, but people are very aware and they want to present a certain version of themselves, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's start to get into Survivor 49. Asia, we are 8 episodes in. What have your thoughts been on the season so far as a whole?
It's been such an interesting season because it's one of those seasons I wish we could watch it through the lens of knowing nothing about
No.
Survivor 50, you know? And I do think that they are very intentional about making sure that people are not confused about why anyone has made it onto 50. And so that makes it really difficult because I feel like there's parts of this cast that we don't know. Like if I hadn't met them in real life and have gotten to know them, like we don't know them on the show. So it makes it really difficult because, you know, there are people like Yellow Sophie. I want to know so much more about her. Like she seems like so confident and so like there's so much more to her than what we're getting to see. Like it's wild that she went so many episodes without like a confessional, or with like just one confessional.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like we're missing a little bit of the character building across the cast. Some people we know really well, but some people it's just kind of it's leaving it up to the imagination. So we can only assume like, okay, like maybe next episode we'll learn something about them. But I do think now that we're hitting like now that we've hit the merge, things are picking up. We are seeing, you know, some good gameplay. It's not just like a pagonging. It's not just a situation where it's like a given who's going home. So I do like that. I do like that people are playing self-interested and making bold moves. So I at first I was like, come on, where is this season going in the pre-merge? But now it's kind of like, okay, we can enjoy it. I'm not looking at the clock like, wait, the episode is still on.
Yeah.
You know, like I will say this episode, I not once did I think like, oh, we still have 20 minutes. So
Yeah, no, I think this was a very good episode. Let's get start at the top. So at the last tribal, MC played her idol. Jawan and Sage took that as a sign that maybe she didn't really trust them or trust their plan. So Molly, we did talk a bit about last week about her decision to play the idol so quickly after she got it. But what did you think of Jawan and Sage's reactions here? Do you think that they were justified in feeling that way, or that they were overreacting a bit about it?
Well, I still don't fault MC for playing it just because, of course, like she has an idol, she wants to be safe, and she didn't fully trust what was going to happen. So I feel like with that move, like it was good for her in that moment. And then I guess like now the repercussions of it, like, aren't so good because now with Joanne and Sage not trusting her, it's obviously not going to be good for MC's game. But I do think it was slightly overreacting because, like, if you have an idol and you want to be safe, like you should play it. Like it doesn't mean that you don't trust other people. It just means you want to make sure you're safe. So I think that like I felt bad for like knowing that they weren't trusting MC anymore because of that.
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree because I think like it takes like an act to be able to fully trust somebody, and it's like just because they were telling you something, like I don't know, you would feel like going home with an idol in your pocket is like the worst possible thing that could happen to a person on Survivor. It feels like in the moment, probably for somebody who has an idol. So it's like I don't blame her one bit for playing that and just being like, okay, now I know I can trust you. Now I won't. If I get the idol back, now I won't necessarily have to play it next week again. But
Exactly. Like that the act was them not voting for her.
right.
So, you know, like she's not going to be like, "Ah, shoot, should have trusted you." And uh, and they vote her out. Like they weren't able to prove themselves
Yeah.
without getting through that vote. And I don't think it was fair to assume that it felt more like Jawan than Sage that was thinking
Hmm.
this, because I don't feel like we got too much from Sage's perspective about MC not trusting her, but it was just like, well, now y'all proved that you did want to keep her, and what does it matter that she used her idol? Like that has no impact. You didn't vote for her, and now there's a new idol out there. So
Right.
actually, it's
Now
a
you
good
can get
thing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, now you have a chance at it. Like that
Yeah.
didn't mess up anything for you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, MC's idol was rehidden, and so Alex, Christina, and Steven go to search for it, and Christina ends up finding it. So, Asia, Alex and Steven saw her find it. Do you think that they will actually keep that idol a secret for her, or do you think that eventually this could be used as leverage against her?
I don't think that they will keep. Well, I think that Steven would. I
Mhm.
especially now with MC gone, because I would think MC is the only one that Steven would want to tell. But with Alex, it makes me so nervous that he's just gonna run to to Blue Sophie and tell her, and she has the knowledge is power advantage, and that's just not good because at this point, I don't see any connection between Christina and Blue Sophie, and so. And you know, Blue Sophie doesn't seem like she wants to use that knowledge is power on Rizzo, and those are the only two idols at this point. So that's a little nerve wracking, because that's just an easy reason to get one more person out that's not on this like original Uli side.
hmm Yeah, because I feel like we don't really know how close Alex and Christina really are. Like, it doesn't feel to me like they have a super strong connection. Like, we know that Christina and Steven have been together since the beginning, but yeah, it does worry me a bit that Alex is going to maybe not even like in a malicious way, but he might tell someone like Soph or somebody that he just feels close to, and then that person will use it against her with that knowledge, and then who knows
Right.
what's going to happen.
Yeah, he could even be like you said, he could be sharing it in a non-malicious way, but in a way to like, hey, just so you know, we don't have to search because Christina has it, right?
Right.
But I think that their only connection is the fact that Alex was like connected to Hina, right? And so
Mhm.
it like as a group he has like kind of um join forces with them,
Right.
but that I just don't know if that's enough to not spread the news that she has this idol. So proud of her for finding it. The fact that she
Oh,
found
yeah.
one and MC found one, I'm like, y'all are living my dream because I searched up and down without having the knowledge that it was already found.
Mhm.
I was always looking, and that was another thing is like um when I was looking, so I could tell a difference when I would look with Saul versus when I would look with Teeny. Like if I looked with Saul,
Mm.
Saul was like looking with me. But when I looked with Teeny, Teeny's like, all right, let's go back to camp before someone catches
Ooh,
us. And that's
interesting.
because Teeny already knew that,
Right.
the idol was found. So it is nice that, Christina was the one that found the idol of these three, but I just really hope she can use it for herself, and I'm nervous that she'll try to use it on someone else. No, I think she would use it on herself. I don't know. I don't know. It's just nerve-wracking with this knowledge is power thing. I think I would be less nervous if that wasn't a thing this season.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but her idol wasn't, oh no, her idol was just an idol, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
a Beware
Mhm.
advantage. Yeah.
Right.
That was interesting. Is that something that we knew that like Beware advantages were only like for the first idol on each tribe and then they don't do that afterwards? I don't remember that.
I don't know, because I'm thinking of like 46, like when they kept finding idols because people kept
Yeah.
getting voted out with them. And I
Right.
think they were finding just the idol, not the Beware
Yeah.
advantage. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that's just a
Yeah.
thing for like the first idol, like on the original tribe beaches, and then after
Hmm.
that, like once it's found re-hidden, then it's just an idol. Okay, yeah, I guess I didn't realize that it worked that way. Well, there is some tension brewing between Sage and Savannah. So Sage feels like Savannah has been condescending towards her, while Savannah thinks that Sage is playing victim. She admits to being a bit envious, actually, of Sage's current position in the game. And we saw this very or not heartwarming, sad story that Savannah told that really kind of humanized her, and I feel like, which I thought was a great moment. But Molly, what do you think of the relationship between the two of them? And who do you think between the two of them will end up striking first?
Yeah, this is interesting because obviously seeing that story from Savannah made me feel for her, but I also do love Sage, so I'm like, I kind of want both of them. Like, I don't want them to be at each other. But I feel like we keep seeing like just so much from both of them, and with Sage saying how much she wants to make a big move, like I feel like she does really want to get out Savannah with that. Obviously, she's talked about it already, but like she needs to find the right time. And I don't know if at that time Savannah's gonna expect it, but then also we know what's happening in 50, so then it gives us the like gives me an opinion of like, okay, maybe then it's Savannah at Sage. So I don't know what to believe right now, but I feel like it's gonna be something that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wish that when like Savannah shared her story, yes, it was Steven was the perfect person because he empathized immediately, but I really wish it was with Sage
Mhm.
to humanize her a bit with
Hmm.
Sage. I
Yeah.
think that would have opened the door for them to actually work together and not this like, oh yeah, we should, all these just like fake promises where it was like, no, I'm being real with you so you see who I am, right? Which, props to Savannah for being so vulnerable and sharing that. Because that was like it literally was the situation I mean, not in the same way, but in the sense of being isolated in the game, and that for that to spark that. And in a way we've seen it for a lot of people. In a way, being out there is very healing for people, in multiple ways. And so that was something that I was just like, I really like that she got the opportunity to have this moment and to share it, and to share it on the island too with Steven. Because yeah, I mean, I think at this point she's been painted as this like villain. We don't know what Savannah, what did Jawan said, Savannah the Savage.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of explains like the tougher exterior she has, right? Like
Hmm.
it's not easy for her to trust people up front because she's seen how fake people can be. And so I love that for her.
Yeah, I love this moment because it was a moment where she was telling the story on the beach. Like, this is normally a story that I feel like we would get in a confessional, and that would kind of, especially like in the early new era, where it was like these moments that were just like kind of out of nowhere and taking us out of the game a bit. Whereas this was like, it made sense to tell the story in this moment. It was a story she was telling on the beach. It just felt very organic, and like it
Hmm.
didn't take me out of the game in that same way. So I loved that moment, and I loved that like, this is a very new era thing where they do, humanize people. And I love that. And I feel like some people, it's like, oh, it's too soft these days. But I love that we get a three-dimensional picture of these people and not just like, oh, this person is the villains who we're only going to see the negative moments of them.
Yeah. I feel like it would the timing was good too, because
Yeah.
we've gotten plenty of like she's had plenty of confessionals up to this point, right? We've gotten a good amount of Savannah, enough for people to have strong opinions either way, right? Like we've seen very just like opinionated people online talking about Savannah's game one way or another. Like I love that she's up front, or the other way. And so now having this moment has allowed people to be like, okay, oh my gosh, okay, now I get her a little bit
Right.
more, which a lot of people don't get to have that like chance for people like the audience to change their opinion.
Yeah. Well, maybe we know why she's getting that full picture.
Right. It's so yeah, it's so weird. How is she getting this full growth
Yeah.
arc? I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe we'll find out in a couple months. Well,
Yeah.
Sage wants to work with Soph. This I thought was very interesting. Blue Sophie. And she opens up to her about her feelings towards Savannah. And Soph tries to distance herself from Savannah and Rizzo a bit by saying that their alliance was purely one of convenience, circumstance, and preservation on her part. That she's really not married to the idea of working with them full, throughout the game. Asia, what do you think is the best move for Soph here? Do you think that she should continue to work with Savannah and Rizzo and try as a trio to find a crack in the seven and pull people to their side? Or do you think that she should be open to dropping them, working with Sage, who seems to have a lot of connections?
I think she has to ride the middle. Like she needs to find a way to keep that with Savannah and Rizzo, because she will never be targeted over those two. I mean, at this
Yeah.
point, everyone wants Savannah or Rizzo. They've all said both of their names. And so if she is able to, okay, if I can, infiltrate the seven, while also still having those relationships, then I kind of keep my options open. So as that dwindles down, I still have these other two that I can kind of cling on to, because if she commits to the other side, she's at the bottom already, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, be at the bottom of a 7 or be at the bottom of a 3. It, easy choice
Hmm.
there. So I think if she's able to find a way, and I think Savannah and Rizzo are gamers enough to be like, if so Blue Sophie is like, hey, I need to distance myself, but this is for a purpose, they will understand and not be like, oh, she left us. So I think it worked out that it's those two specifically, that they aren't like leading with like their heart. So
Hmm.
if she's able to find the sweet spot, that'll work out perfectly for her.
Yeah. And I think Molly, it seems like strongest part of her game is her social game. It seems like she is so good at just connecting with people right away and having them trust her. No matter who she's working with in the game, they like Soph whether they like her allies or not.
I know. I'm so impressed by her social game. I feel like every time like she talks to someone, they just are charmed by her. Like it's just
Yeah.
like she just has that
Sophie's
aspect
missed.
about her. She's just fun with everyone.
Yeah.
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 And it's genuine too. Like I've met her in real life and she's exactly like that. So
Yeah.
it makes sense how that kind of translated. Though I felt that way too about like Joe from 48, meeting
Hmm.
him. And it was like, I get it. Now I get how people are so charmed by you.
I felt the same way with Joe. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you wonder on TV sometimes. It's like, what do these people have that
Yeah.
everybody likes them? And then it's like, oh yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, at the immunity challenge, Jeff reveals that the tribe will be split into two groups. They compete in an endurance challenge where the winner's team will all win immunity, and the winner gets an individual advantage as well. So the losing tribe will go to a new beach for the night where they'll be the only ones vulnerable, the only ones going to tribal. Asia, the last time we saw this version of the split tribal twist was in 47, where Rachel infamously played her safety without power and Tiana went home. So what are your thoughts on this version of this twist versus the one that we saw like last season where there's two separate tribals?
I did, because of what happened in 47, I did assume that Savannah's power was going to be that she could save one of them.
Mm.
And I wonder if it was ever floated, and I didn't see any like, well, I don't know if this would be in like a deleted scene or on Fire, but I wonder if Savannah could have given her necklace to someone else, because
Yeah.
like what would happen then? Because they're not voting for her. She's technically not, she's safe, right? But then what happens if she gives her necklace away? I mean, could she give her necklace away after the votes?
Oh, that's so interesting. Is she still safe? Yeah.
Yeah. Because she's
Yeah, I
not a
don't
part of that
know.
5. She's just joining.
That's so interesting. I have no idea. That's a very good question. Because I would have thought like, oh, she gives somebody her necklace. She's vulnerable, but
Right,
she
but she
isn't really.
won.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, because she's technically not a part of the 5. And I
Yeah.
wonder if she considered it, because that is another way for Rizzo not to have to use his idol.
Hmm.
Um, but maybe she just assumed that she would have been vulnerable. I don't know. And
Yeah.
maybe she did ask. Maybe she did try to do it. I don't know. But that was something, and that's something that may not even cross your mind. Like you don't know how many things I've thought of that I could have done differently after,
I'm sure.
sleeping. And even at Ponderosa, I'm like, oh, if I had just done this. I'm like, yeah, well, now I've eaten, I've had sleep, I've showered, I'm in a completely different headspace. And so, yeah, I really wonder if she had tried to pull that, because then they wouldn't have to worry about Rizzo's idol being played. But he just decided to take that big risk, which was wild. But yeah, I did think of 47 when that happened,
Mhm.
because I was like, oh, she's gonna get to save someone.
Right, right. No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I assumed too, but
yeah.
that is not what happened. But Savannah, as we said, did win the challenge here. So she won immunity for her team, which consists of Christina, Soph, Steven, and Alex. This leaves Sage, MC, Jawan, Sophie, Yellow Sophie, and Rizzo vulnerable. Now, Molly, when you looked at that group of 5, who do you immediately think is in the most trouble here?
Well, obviously we had of the group, we have 3 Uli, original Uli, then 2 of the original Hina. So I felt like at that time, like the Hina people are just more at risk there, which unfortunately, because I like both MC and Sophie, so I had a feeling they were going to go after them.
Yeah, so you immediately thought that Sage and Jawan would kind of flip back to
Yeah.
Uli.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just assume, and maybe this is just me, but I guess I just assume, okay, Sage and Jawan have made their choice. They've decided to go
Yeah.
with Hina. And like they like it's like you can't, it's like on did y'all watch Squid Game the challenge? Are y'all caught up on that?
Yes.
Okay,
I
because there was
haven't.
that moment on the catch game where one of the twins, like,
Yeah, you made your
throws
decision. Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, you can't go back once you've done that. And that's kind of what I felt like here. It's like, okay, you voted one
Yeah.
way. Like, you're going to all of a sudden go back and do that. Like, I just kind of didn't assume that they would do that. But
Like
here we
you
are.
showed your hand. That is the
Right.
perfect comparison. That's I was like, you literally showed what you're capable of by saying you're going to do something else. And you can't go back and change your mind now because now the trust is lost. So same with Sage and Jawan, like you've shown that you are capable of turning on OG Uli, right? So if you go back, they know that you're just gonna go back, which is
Yeah.
kind of what I thought too in
Yeah.
47, just like watching as a viewer with like how Andy played. You know, he was able to go
Hmm.
back and forth. I'm like, y'all are still trusting him after all the amount of times he showed you that he's not going to be loyal to anyone.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's I thought that Jawan would want to do this, which I guess in this case it was him. And I felt that Sage was going to press a little bit harder not to do that because it did seem like she truly wanted to work with MC. So that's where it was just kind of like, oh man. But I understand now if you're working in this, like, I guess, duo, you're probably thinking, okay, Juwan's not down. I don't want to sacrifice myself. Like, I don't want them to start thinking that I'm the
Right.
one out. It's easier if it's just like, oh, it's the two of us. That's two votes.
Hmm. Yeah, like you can only push so hard. Like if you can tell that like if people are really leaning one way, it's like okay, just I want to feel like I'm a team. You would think that I'm a team player and I'm down. So I don't blame Sage for not pushing that too hard. But yeah, I really didn't think, but we'll get there. So back at camp with the losing team, Sophie comes up with a plan to make Rizzo feel safe enough that he won't use his idol. So she suggests that they all tell him that they're willing to vote Sophie, Yellow Sophie, since she has proven herself to be an immunity threat. But in all reality, they'll vote for Rizzo. So, Asia, it is interesting to me because Sophie, just a couple weeks ago, was really upset with Christina for being willing to use her name as the decoy plan. And now Sophie's suggesting it herself.
Yeah.
So, do
You
you think that like that is just in general not a good idea to like float your own name out there that way? Because like to me, it feels like okay, maybe they're talking about it as the fake plan, but maybe they'll convince themselves that it should be the real plan.
Yeah, you win one immunity idol and then you're like, "Oh, they could vote me." But yeah,
Change
no,
sentiment.
I do think that is a bad idea as someone who did it themselves. Like I
Mm,
was being told like, "Hey, like we want to vote out Saul." And then what do we vote? What do we tell Saul? I was like, "Tell him me." Like and so, in hindsight, it was one of those things where like, okay, well, even if I'd said someone else's name, that would have gone back to them. And it's really, no good path there if you're having to be the one to choose the alternative name. But in that case, putting your name out there makes people think like you said, should that be the real plan? Hey, it's not
mhm.
my name, you know?
Right.
So yeah, that's a tough spot. And hopefully she doesn't hopefully she doesn't decide to do that again because that should have shook her enough to be like, I don't want people saying my name at all.
Yeah. Well, we get here a an interesting game of telephone that starts, but we'll get to that in just a second because Sophie first tells the plan to MC and adds in though just another element to it that she didn't tell the others. So she is planning to put a single vote on Jawan as a safety net just in case Rizzo does play his idol. So this, like I said, starts a whole game of telephone. But let's take it one step at a time. So, first, Molly, what were your thoughts on Sophie's plan here and telling that plan to MC?
Well, at this point, Sophie doesn't really have anyone else she could totally trust, I feel like. And obviously, she started the game with MC. So I think it made sense for her to share information with MC. But then, obviously, with the information that we have, also with knowing that MC is close with Jawan or wants to talk to Jawan about certain gameplay, that obviously wasn't the best in that scenario. But in this moment, like I feel like it made sense for Sophie to share with MC right before we saw everything else conspire.
It's it's also like in the same way. Well, okay, I think this is where the like wrong decisions started to be made, because if you're
Mhm.
gonna throw a rogue vote out there, just do it. Like, why are you telling
Right.
anybody? Like,
Because
that's
I feel
just
like
one vote. If everybody is, if the consensus is we're unanimously voting out Rizzo, you don't have to be the one to put that out there, because at this point, Sophie doesn't know if MC has like bonded very quickly with Joanne. She doesn't know if there's been some kind of like cross tribal agreement at some point where like, like Sage and Joanne wanted to pair off with like MC and Steven or something. Like there was a connection between Joanne and Steven. And Sophie may not know that how close MC and Steven are. So I think there are too many webs to make that assumption that she would have just been okay with Joanne going home, right? Because by throwing out a vote, you're saying if worse comes to worse, I want that person to go home. And so that felt too risky. Yeah, like it paid off for her in this moment because of the ripple effect, but I think that Sophie, that like there was no benefit in her sharing that with MC. Like that's something you share after the fact. Hey, I did this just in case, just to save our butts, but I didn't
right.
get why she did it beforehand.
Because I feel like it's something she could so easily say, "Oh, it was just something like I didn't even plan to do it," and then in the moment,
Yeah.
as I'm in the voting booth, like I just got really concerned and like just
Yeah.
decided to do it. Like I feel like there was no need to be like, "This has been the plan this whole time."
Yeah.
Uh, But then this game of telephone does keep going because MC doesn't want to lose Jawan. So, in an effort to prove to him that he can trust her now, she runs back and tells him about this plan, which of course scares him. And it leads him to then go to Sage and suggest that they get out Sophie instead of Rizzo and flip. He would be flipping back to working with Savannah, Rizzo, and Soph. So Asia, was telling Jawan MC's biggest mistake here, or in theory, do you think that it should have worked? Like, do you think that Jawan was the one who kind of made the mistake here?
I I don't think that Jawan made a mistake because he wasn't at risk of going home. Like
Mhm.
if there were a tie, let's say with Sophie and Jawan, Sophie would be going home, I would think, in that situation.
Yeah.
Which is why it was kind of dangerous for her to even put that out there. But it we did get more information with MC's exit press about like she told Juwan, "Hey, I'm having an out of game conversation with you. I have seen what it's like for two black people or black people back to back go into the jury, and I don't want that to happen. So this is why I'm telling you." And you do have to know for sure that that other person feels that same sentiment, because for Juwan, he just thinks, "Oh my gosh, I might go home. I gotta go tell everybody. Like, make sure that doesn't happen." Where it was just like it was more of a preventative measure on MC's part. So I do think she shouldn't have told him, right? I mean, I do understand her trying to protect him in a way so that he's aware that this might happen. I think that the move is like, okay, I feel this. I know how she referenced like how it happened in season 42. She's like, I know how uncomfortable I felt when it happened then. I don't want it to happen now. It happened in 46 as well. And so just thinking, okay, I need to just make sure that Rizzo doesn't use his idol. Just try to see like what power does she have at that point, because by telling him, how does that change the plan? Unless she wants to get out Sophie. Like if you are telling him with the pure goal of getting out Sophie, that makes sense. But if it was just like a, hey, I just want you to be aware, you just have no control over what his actions are at that point. So it's just kind of one of those like it I get the, like, she was coming from a place of concern, and like she was acting based on her heart as opposed to, okay, I need to think about the downstream effects of if I tell him, and if he doesn't just kind of like swallow it, then that could be bad for me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like in this moment, like she just really wanted to also build that trust with him. And so by telling this information, she thought that would then help her in the long run too, in terms of, okay, now you can trust me again, but it's not great hearing your name,
Yeah.
obviously. So she was then
Hmm.
scared about that.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure if she was aware of necessarily the split tribal curse that that has been going on in the new era, and this
Hmm.
unfortunately was just another example of that that happened. But yeah, like once she said that in the exit interview that that was her reasoning, kind of this outside of the game situation, like I can't critique that. Like that is something that I think is fully understandable, and even if I think she probably kind of even maybe went into it knowing like, look, this may not be the best for my game, but like this is something that I just feel like I have to do, and I fully respect that. Even more potentially if if that was if she was going into it with the awareness that like this might backfire on me, but it's something that I just kind of feel like I have to do.
Yeah, I think if she had realized, like, if like before like before making the decision to tell him, if she thought, okay, what's the best case scenario? Oh, I built trust with Jawan. Now he trusts me. I don't have to worry. Like that is a connection that is made. But what's the worst case scenario? I go home. I think if she had realized like
Yeah,
that she could have gone home, then she would not have told
she
him.
wouldn't have. Yeah.
But it's just kind of like
Mhm.
yeah, there's a certain like, I don't know, there's just a certain type of people that would feel that way, and know the impact of like just being a Black person playing Survivor. Has like you're playing two games, like you are not only just trying to navigate the game itself, but then you're navigating perception. You don't want to be
Right.
seen as the angry Black woman. You don't want to be seen as aggressive. There's an extra layer that and the extra layer adds a certain level of complexity when you're starving, you are sleep deprived, you're hot, you're exhausted, you're missing everyone back home, you're missing any type of like comfort, right? And so it really makes decision making difficult. And so it's just kind of like, it was so unfortunate seeing how this plays out, but it was just like I can't blame MC in that moment for making that decision, because she's thinking, this is one piece of information I can deliver him to build that trust. It's just like she doesn't really have, I guess, control over how that plays out.
Right, sure. Yeah, and this season was, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, was the first season either ever or since many many years where there had been all of the Black castaways had made it to the merge.
Yeah, I
So
think
we,
it. Yeah, I think it was the fact that there were five.
yeah,
I think that statistic is the most Black people that have made it past the like jury phase, which is amazing, right?
yeah.
And and now we see, back to back again.
Oh God,
It's
let's hope
just
that ends right
really,
now.
I know.
Oh boy, yeah. Well, the sage brings the game of telephone full circle back to Sophie by letting her know that Joanne is backing out of the Rizzo plan now because of MC ratting her out. So this lets Sophie know that she can't trust MC, and Sophie tries to do damage control with Joanne now. Molly, what is Sophie's best play here? Because it feels like she has nobody anymore. And now that she knows she can't trust MC, Jawan doesn't trust her fully. Like, she's really on her own in this game, seemingly. So, where does she go from
Yeah, no, Sophie is not really in the best spot here. I feel like obviously she had just won immunity last week, and so I feel like she still like was like riding on that high a little bit. But then now it's like, okay, now I need to fight for myself, and she doesn't really know like who to build trust with and have those conversations. So I just don't know in this moment in time, like still like who's her closest ally, like I don't really know, especially with like breaks and Hina. I mean, she's so close with some of those Hina back in the other half of the tribe, but I feel like now it was like her against MC at this point.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, because like I would say Christina is her closest ally, but even they had like a little moment a couple weeks ago, at least. I don't know if there's any residue from that still, but like when Christina was said, you was going to use Sophie's name as the decoy plan, and
Mm-hmm.
then she was like, "Well, I don't know that I can trust Christina now." So I'm like, really, I don't know. Now that next week they're all getting back together, like I don't know where Sophie goes from here.
Right. I mean, because do people start to see Sophie like Rizzo is seeing her, or it's just kind of like she has no one, so people are always going to want her out. So
Yeah.
then let's go
Yeah.
after. There's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, she could be a
Yeah.
good like final three goat, I hate to say. But like, potentially if everybody's kind of like in their minds, like of like,
Yeah.
oh, well nobody, if we'll just kind of drag her along because, she's an easy one to get out whenever. But if you wait too long, then she can start to reform those bonds. So
Right.
that can be pretty dangerous. But we will see. But Savannah now gets her advantage. So she finds out that it is the ability to go over to the losing team's camp and join them for the vote. So she has the ability to either vote or not vote tonight and save it for the future. Asia, what did you think of this twist? And in her position, would you vote now? Or would you save your vote?
1000% save it,
Yeah.
because it's like she gets nothing from using it. I think even in the situation that if everyone was voting Rizzo and Rizzo felt unsafe, use your idol. You have your own protection.
Mhm.
Like I'm not going to use my extra vote, my vote at this point when we could use it later down the line. At this, like, he didn't have to take that risk if he were in danger. Like if he knew that, okay, he was getting a vote or two, then she's like, she could have easily told him, all you have to do is use your idol. That way they have something for themselves in the future, especially knowing that Joanne and Sage have the ability to switch sides.
Mhm.
If they're operating from a minority, they need all the help that they can get. And that's an extra vote that no one would know that they have, which I also wonder now, knowing when the vote was decided, like saying, hey, the next person voted out, do they know that Sophie or that Savannah didn't vote?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they could tell if they really think about it hard enough because they ended the vote at 3, right?
Yeah.
So like if they really thought about it, they could tell that she didn't vote. But I don't know if like with the starvation and
Right.
everything, if they're
Yeah.
really not in the right frame of mind, if they're actually going to think about that. But like I feel like 47's cast would have figured it out. I
Yeah,
mean, like,
they would.
so we'll see if this one does.
Right.
But
Because I'm like, if I'm thinking of that group of people, I feel like the ones to figure it out would be like Rizzo and Savannah. But
yeah,
they're not
right.
going to go around saying it. But
Yeah.
but potentially Sage, I don't know. Because truly Sage is like a part of 47 since she was the 47 alternate.
Sure, yes.
And so I'm really enjoying watching her play. I'm loving that she's getting so much airtime, and like we're getting the game from her perspective at this point.
Yeah.
So I wonder if she's going to be one of the ones like, why did they stop after 3? Like that's
I could see
weird.
it. I could see it. Had you met Sage at all before, like just knowing her as the alternate for your season? Like, had y'all reached out at all to her, or?
Yeah. We've definitely like been in touch over the year,
Oh, nice.
or the past like year. But yes, because we were in Fiji together,
Right.
and we had this like for some reason her and I were like on the same bathroom schedule. Like when I would get up to go to the bathroom, she would be coming out. And so we just it happened like so many times, enough for us to be like, this is weird.
That's
But
so
we would always like smile at each other, and then you're just like, and like we both had like the same like Wordle like book that you like write do Wordle puzzles on.
oh,
And
fun.
so yeah, it was like I didn't even know that existed until I
I
was
didn't
like
either.
trying to find stuff to occupy my time while I was there. And so we had that connection. I was really excited to be playing with her because she seemed like really good vibes. And then I was like crushed when I found out she was our alternate.
Mm.
And then, yeah, I just met her for the first time in San Francisco, which was like really
Mm.
cool because there's like, it felt like we already knew each other, right? But it was
Sure.
like, this is our first time like talking to each other. It's so weird.
That's fun. Well, Savannah shows up and surprises the losing team on their beach. She only tells Rizzo the full extent of her advantage, and they discuss what the plan is going to be now. So they decide, or really, Rizzo is the one who brings this up, I believe. They decide to flip the script and get MC out instead of Sophie, since they feel like MC is more well connected to so many people, and people want Sophie out already. So why do their dirty work? So Molly, do you feel like this is the smarter plan for them, or do you think that Sophie has proven herself like to be too much of a challenge threat to not take advantage of this opportunity to get rid of her?
I think this was smart of Rizzo to think of this. I feel like, as we're saying, maybe Sophie's gonna become just like someone people can always easily get out if she doesn't win immunity. So like keep her around for that reason. And then MC is really connected, and also she is good at challenges too. So like both of them are really good at challenges that like both of them would be threats in the physical way. So it's more just thinking about strategically, like who has more connections back at camp, and obviously MC was that person.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that there's no reason like that I can think of, yeah, to that really you would want to get Sophie out over MC in this situation for them and from their perspective. Like
I'm,
yeah, I think that MC just seems a lot more well connected with Steven, with other people.
and the only thing is like what they've proven through the individual immunity. Like
Mhm.
MC has been so strong throughout the team
Yeah.
portion. But it's like these individual ones, I wondered like what she would thrive at. And I guess they didn't want to take that risk, but Yellow Sophie has clearly shown she's been top 2 in the past 2. So if you
Mhm.
wanted to eliminate an individual immunity threat, you would think maybe they would go Sophie, but they were thinking through more like, I guess, connections.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just think like with the challenges coming up, I mean, I guess they do. I don't know. They do a lot of like endurance ones these days for individual immunities, and I guess that maybe that's more Sophie would be stronger or has proven to be stronger than at that. But it's just yeah, I just feel like it's hard to tell because MC is so strong. Like, you know, it's not like it's an obvious like choice of like someone is never going to win anything and then one of them is going to potentially win everything. In that case, it's a harder decision. But yeah, in this
Yeah.
case, I do feel like they're both relatively evenly strong from, you know, just the full challenge performance, not just these last two.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we had well, it's hard. You know, we love MC, so it's hard to, you know,
I
not try to
know.
just justify why they were wrong for doing that. But we did have our first live tribal of the season. In the first one, I don't think we had any live tribals last season that I can remember. So this is the first one in a while, if not counting
Yeah,
Australians.
I was trying to think about that. Yeah, because unless you consider any of the tribe that Say and Cedric are on, if you consider any of those live, like when they kept tying and but because they were talking,
Mm,
but there, I guess no live ones in this way to where they're like trying to change the vote.
right.
So yeah, this was exciting to see because it's just like it's not just these boring votes.
Exactly. No, this was an interesting one. And again, if we didn't already know 50 spoilers, this would have been a lot more exciting, but
Yeah.
it still was. It was still fun, I thought. But Asia, we didn't get to hear any of the side conversations, any of the whispering. We didn't hear at all what they were saying. Now, I did listen to MC's exit interview, and I know that Rob asked her what was said, but I don't feel like she really answered it that I could like remember.
I
So
think she answered it when she talked to Mike Bloom,
okay, I
and she
didn't get a
said that
chance to watch that.
she was telling them just vote for Sophie.
Mm.
And I think that's what she was trying to pitch was, hey, just vote for Sophie, and trying to make it a I don't think it was trying to make it a 2-2-2, but I think that was the main gist of it was just trying to get them to vote for Sophie.
Okay.
Because yeah, it was like, "Hey, I have one ask for you," is what she told Rizzo, and I was like, "Is she asking for the idol?" Or, you know?
Yeah, I was like, "What could she possibly, like, did she ask to go home maybe, and that's why we didn't hear it?" I was
Mhm.
like, "What
I
could
saw people
possibly?"
suspecting that, and I was like, "She is way too competitive to have asked to go home." Like,
Yeah.
I don't see that whatsoever. But yeah, I think that was what she said she asked. Like, I think I saw it in, like, the Mike Bloom written interview, was just that she
Okay.
said to vote Sophie.
Okay. That makes more sense. But just her personality, I
Yeah.
agree with you. Like, I could not see her, like, asking to be voted out, but then in my mind, I thought,
Yeah.
"Well, maybe is that why they didn't wanna show it because they didn't wanna make her seem like a quitter?" But, like, I guess it was just to build the suspense, but, like, I don't get why we couldn't hear that. Like, it just didn't
Mhm.
make any sense to me, like, if that's what it was, then it still doesn't make sense to me, like, why we couldn't hear what she was saying other than just to make people speculate all week long.
I think that's what it was. Like, that reminded me of, like, the one tribal they had, last season with, we were seeing it fr was it from Joe's perspective? I can't remember whose perspective it was where they drowned out everyone talking at
Yeah.
tribal.
Mm.
It was
Yes.
like they wanted us to get that point of view, and I
Uh-huh.
think with this, if we had heard them saying, like, "Hey, we're still voting out MC," then we would have, there wasn't much conversation to kind of shift it to thinking that she was changing their mind.
Got it. Well, unfortunately for her, she was not able to change their
I
mind, and
know.
MC is voted out here in a vote of 4-1. So Savannah did decide to save her vote. And yeah, I know, Asia, you have gotten close to MC. It seems like just through social media that y'all have connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on seeing her leave?
That was so tough. That was so tough, especially like being like unspoiled in boot order. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was going to happen this soon."
Hmm.
And I was just really excited to kind of see her in more individual immunities, to see what could happen, just to see how, the dynamics play out with old Hina, if they can really be in a or continue to be in a power position, with them getting out Nate. So it was really unfortunate to go out that way because, like, we're in the individual part of the game. Let's be in the individual part of the game. Let's not split up and have 5 and 5 where all her people
Yeah.
are in the other 5. So it's just like, oh, that's so tough knowing that, like, they wouldn't have voted her out. So
Hmm.
it's a really tough spot, especially knowing she'd already used her idol. She really didn't have a play, but try to get out Sophie, because what
Yeah.
I don't get is, I don't understand why they did not try to split it, possibly by trying to go after Rizzo, try to flush the idol, because it was not like, Sophie even said, "How did Rizzo get in this power position?" And then I think was it Jawan? I can't remember. I just don't know how the tide shifted where they're just like for sure with Rizzo, and didn't want to potentially get his idol back in play. So I feel for her. I really enjoyed watching her play. I loved watching her dominate. I loved watching, like, her set the record for most, or like the only player who's gotten first place in all, like, pre-merge,
Oh my
which
gosh, is
is,
that a record? I didn't see that.
yeah. Yeah, she's like
Wow.
the only Survivor player to have gotten first place in all of the, team
Wow.
challenges. Which is, I was like,
That's
that's,
crazy.
yeah. So all of the different switch ups, her tribe kept winning. And so that's cool. So, like, I'm glad that
Yeah.
she has that. I'm glad that she got to play too. Like, she was the alternate, and the fact that she got to play is just like amazing, that she did so well. So I think she should be so proud of herself. I know that when you're competitive, you're like, if you don't win, you lost. So I hope that she's like really proud of herself, and just like she made her mark on the season. So I'm proud of her.
Yeah, she absolutely should be proud of herself. That's an incredible record to set. And
Yeah.
yeah, she played a great game. I mean, like, when when you're twist screwed like this, it's like in one hand, like I almost would rather go out that way because it's like I know that I can sleep at night knowing I couldn't have really done anything differently than what I did. Like it's just like you were screwed
Mm-hmm.
by a twist, screwed by a swap, screwed by a whatever. Like you know, on one hand, like I would hate it because it's like there like I want to have the ability to have secure my own fate, but on the other
Mm-hmm.
hand, it's like I couldn't really done much else. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough. But
Because
she
it's
made it
kind of
pretty
like,
far.
would she like? No one has played their shot in the dark. Like, was that
Yeah.
something that could have been? It's been so non-existent that
Yeah.
they don't even talk about it anymore.
Maybe they gave them up like the Survivor 40, was it 46, 47 in the cast?
47.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was Y'all's cast. That just like all gave
Yeah.
them up. Yeah, maybe they did that and we just didn't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so yeah,
yeah.
I did find the actual record. Yeah, it says MC has become the first person ever to win all of the pre-merge challenges that she has been involved in.
Wow.
Wow.
That's impressive.
That's a
Yeah.
crazy stat. That
Yeah.
49 seasons to break a record in season 49 of a
I
show
know.
is insane.
She's a
So,
beast.
wow, yeah. Well, Asia, unless we have anything else that we missed from this episode, I think that covers Survivor 49, episode 8. But looking ahead real quick, Survivor 50 is coming right up, and your friend, Genevieve from
Mhm.
Survivor 47, is a cast member on it. So just before we go, I have to get your thoughts on watching Genevieve on Survivor 50. What are your thoughts on how she's going to do, who she's going to connect with from that cast? What are you thinking?
I'm so excited to watch her play again, especially after the journey she had on 47. I think it'll be really interesting to see how she approaches relationships starting out this time. And getting to play with all these amazing people is kind of wild. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be like connections all over the place, but I think it's going to be really interesting just to see like the dynamics at play. I think it's going to be interesting to see who everyone aligns with, right? Because it's like we haven't seen this group of people together, but I'm really excited for her and can't wait to any watch parties that happen, getting to go cheer for her. So it'll be really exciting. But just I'll be Team Genevieve all of Survivor 50.
Absolutely. Well, Asia, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can our listeners find you on social media? Do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, so you can find me at Asia Like Asia. That's AYSHA, like ASIA. Right now, we are talking about Married at First Sight over on my podcast called A Perfect Match on RHAP. We are talking about season 19. It is on Peacock, and we're all the way at 12 episodes have come out, and it's only been a few weeks. They are dropping them like Love is Blind
Oh my
style.
God.
So we have been discussing it plenty. We have
Great season.
yeah, it's a good season, right? Really good. Yeah. We are discussing each batch of episodes every week. And then we also have a Patreon. So patreon.com/a perfect match podcast, where we talk about all of the stuff we didn't get to on the proper podcast. And we've had some past cast members from Married at First Sight on there. So me and my co-host Jason Reed are having a great time talking about Married at First Sight. And yeah, that's what's consuming me these days. 2 podcasts a week for Married at First Sight. Yeah, I think anything I'm up to, I'm probably the most active on Instagram. So you can give me a follow there. But yeah, thank you all so much for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Let me just say, I can attest. I am a patron, so I can attest to the fact that your
Thank you so
Patreon
much.
is well worth it. I love all the bonus
Thanks.
content, interviews, past seasons, going back and rewatching has been very fun to listen to. So I think everybody absolutely should go subscribe to that.
I love that.
But thank you all so much for listening. You can follow us at Let's Chat Reality on all social media and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. So we will chat with you all next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.